Good evening. If we can start the meeting with a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. We'll start the meeting with community forum. Is there anybody from the community who wishes to address the board this evening? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And if you'd also sign the clipboard before you leave, that'd be great, just so we get the information correct.
Good evening, my name is Nancy Krupinski. I'm at 59 Deerfield Drive here in Vernon. I'll be very brief because my husband has a meeting tonight, so I have to scoot out to watch kids for that. But I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Conway, and members of the board for putting forth for full-day kindergarten, which I had kind of asked for the last time I came to speak before you. Since September, I've been spending a lot of time in the kindergarten classrooms. My son Ben, who's 5, is in afternoon kindergarten at Center Road School, and I really see the struggles that the teachers have, because it's kind of hard to keep the attention span of 19 kids all at once, running all over the place to get everything done that she does need to get done. So I do think they need a little bit more time in the classroom, most definitely. The other thing that I wanted to address is if there's any money not to be cut for any sort of behavioral specialist within the school system. Apparently there's been a lot of issues. This is the first time today that my son Benjamin has come home and said, "Mommy, I'm just so tired. There's so many kids in school that aren't listening. I can't focus. I can't hear the teacher." So I feel like a lot of kids are missing out because there's behavioral stuff going on elsewhere. And I don't want kids to start being penalized or miss out or being punished with missing field trips or missing activities at school because other kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. My older son Jack, who's in the 5th grade, he has an exceptional teacher, Mr. Willett, this year, who's doing so much with the kids with technology, showing them different things on the internet related to sound and science. And my son loves going to school every day. You know, there's days if he has a fever or he's sick, he's like, "No, I don't want to stay home. I don't want to miss what's going on in Mr. Willett's class today." So, you know, I think it's really important to maintain the decorum in the classrooms and to make sure that every child has the opportunity to learn. If there is something behavioral going on, just to make sure that there is a quick response in the classroom. You worry about the safety of the kids, but I think Vernon is doing a good job of doing things appropriately. But I just want to maintain the budget to reflect that you guys have all the resources that you need, that the teachers, the administrators have all the needs to maintain this type of decorum in the classroom so every child has the opportunity to learn and grow and have a good school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody out from the community that would like to speak this evening? Please state your name and address for the record and sign the clipboard if you would.
Hi, Rachel Sutherland. I live at 42 Butternut Lane. I spoke to you all last week, and I'm just here really to support all of you tonight. I hope that you will put through the full proposal of the budget that you are seeking to get from the town. I know it's more than what has been asked of you. I know that it's a lot more than what's been asked of you, but our children desperately need you to put this through. And I will be so proud of all of you if you stand up for our children and go forward with what you think is right, regardless of what might be being asked of you to cut it back. But for too long, we've neglected our children, and it's got to stop. And it's within your power to stop that. Put through what we need. If they need to push back into, or however that works, you know, let the parents come out and support you. Let us do what we can with the town. I mean, we love our children, you know. This might sound silly, but I'll leave you with this analogy. I had to stop tonight and buy my son medicine. He has chronic migraines, so I can never be without his medicine. I'm his parent, and it's my job to make sure I always have this. Wherever he stays, they have it, school has it, and you guys are the parents of all of our children. And our children need medicine right now, in a weird way that I made this analogy tonight, but they need this medicine, and it's your job to make sure they have it. So, with that, I hope I'm proud of you all tonight. I know I will be. You have a big job ahead of you, and I know that I am. I'm very appreciative of the job that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the community that would like to speak this evening at Community Forum? Please state your name and address for the record and also sign the clipboard.
Good evening. Alice Johns. I live at 275 Moosie Road. And I just want to thank you for considering increasing the budget for the school system, even though what I heard is that the mayor didn't want you to do that. Thank you. Be courageous and push for it. You all know we need it. We all know we need it. And hopefully the parents will do their part. And when it comes time to vote for it, when it comes to that, we can rally behind you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak this evening at Community Forum? Seeing no other persons, I'm going to close Community Forum and we'll start with our business meeting. Dr. Conway, I know you handed out a few handouts. I don't know if you want to speak to those.
Yes, we did. There were a few more questions from the board asking one of the questions was about the occupational therapists and physical therapists. And, excuse me, there was a decrease in one line item and an increase in another line item. We've listed those two line items that you'll see. It's not dollar for dollar. When these current employees were contracted services, their hourly salary was higher and they received no benefits. So now that they are our employees, they receive benefits and therefore their hourly salary is also lower. So it's not a dollar for dollar. I think question 2 is pretty self-explanatory. On question 3, this was brought to the attention of Mrs. Buell, and she said there were actually 6 errors found. She went through person by person again, and she's changed the funding for those people. So you can see that in the next iteration of the budget, you will see the final dollar amount was the same in the paraprofessional line item, but in the lines, there'll be movement between the general education and the special education lines back and forth. I think that was it. And then you asked for an accounting, so you have a sheet that lists the bird's eye view here, more or less, what happened at your 5 meetings thus far. And then meeting by meeting, you can see the first meeting, what the superintendent's budget was. For the second meeting, what came back, the reductions you made at the second meeting, reductions you made at the third meeting, and then at the fourth workshop as well. And so where we are right now is 7.14%. So they're detailed with their account numbers there as well. And all that will be taken into account after this meeting, and everything will be changed with a whole new set of documents by Friday, which is when this is due to the mayor's office.
Thank you, Dr. Conway. One question, I thought I had seen a note that there was a staff salary adjustment number that we needed to take some action on.
That's correct, $49,990. One teacher had been paid previously by grant. When it was brought over, she did not come into the budget. It's a Lake Street classroom teacher. Thank you. $49,990.
And that was $49,990.
Lake Street.
At Lake Street. Okay. Do we know the line code?
51113.
1113. And I would entertain a motion to make that adjustment so that our salaries are correct. Ms. Arndt?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second on adding $49,990 for Lake Street School teaching? Ms. Bush. A motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote by show of hands. All in favor? Okay, that's It's unanimous, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
It's going to be an add of $49,990 to our bottom line. Mrs. Arnold.
I move to adopt the Board of Education budget of $51,669,786.92.
Can we include the $49,990?
That includes the
Oh, that does.
$49,990.
Thank you. Can we repeat that number that you used?
$51,669,786.92.
Thank you for that updated figure. Mr. Percy?
I'd like to second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the budget at $51,697,000. Oh, sorry. 69, yes, I have that. Sorry.
51,669,786.92.
6. Mrs. Arnold.
I just want to confirm that with Mr. Picaro. Okay.
We have the number. We have a motion by Mrs. Arnold, we have a second by Mr. Percy. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Kemp.
I'd like to understand from Mr. Picaro if there are any variations in what we have budgeted currently for magnet school tuition to the best of his knowledge as of today.
Through you, Mr. Chairman.
You have the floor.
There are no new variations at this point in time. Our numbers still stand from before.
Thank you, Mr. Picaro. Mr. Kemp.
Are there other variations that the board may not be aware of that have occurred since we met last, Mr. Picaro?
Through the chair, at this point, the only variation would be the uncertainty of our education cost share, excess cost funding for special education. But we have implemented a budget freeze, which we will be discussing in more detail at the Finance Committee meeting coming up on Monday. But there are no other variations at this point, Mr. Kemp.
Mr. Kemp, you still have the floor.
Could you clarify further what you mean by variations in the special ed funding? I'm not sure if you're aware of any information from the state that we're not privileged to have at this time.
No, everything I know you know. We budgeted for $699,000 reimbursement from the state, but we haven't seen the final figure as of yet.